Alright, in this video we're going to look at the finishing mechanics on head and arm choke. It's one of my top finishing submissions right now, and I learned a few details. Go ahead and go down here. A few details recently that have really helped me up my finishing percentage on it. First, we're just going to work two little ways. Scoot back just a little bit. Two ways of getting the arm across where I get the bicep pinned to the ear and get my head to the other side of the opposite side of the elbow. Okay. So let's just start and mount where we already have a good underhook, and I start to get the elbow above Jared's shoulder line. Okay, so a little fast forward. Typically, as I'm getting into mount, I should already have one underhook. It's rare that you get to mount on a decent opponent with no underhook. Okay, so we'll just fast forward, and we have an underhook. Now for the head and arm, my goal is to work the arm across where his bicep's glued to his ear, and I can pass off and get my head to the opposite side of the far side of the elbow. Okay. Now, your opponent's not going to just let you pull it over and get your head to the other side. So two ways that work well that I go for is, one is as I walk my arm across, I'm looking to get my hand across this opposite to the opposite shoulder. Okay, in a diagonal fashion across here. This also is a post now, so if Jared were to bridge over here to his left, this is a good post where I can start to pass my head to the far side of the elbow. Okay. Now, little beginner mistakes that we'll just review really quick is you never want to try. You never want to try and duck your head underneath. Okay, there's just not enough space. And even if you were able to get your head underneath, you're just going to get it trapped. Second mistake a lot of beginners will do, or even I see higher level guys going for, is they get really close and then they try to pull this hand back to push the arm. The second I release pressure, this elbow is going to come back. You're never going to be able to beat that. And then he might trap your arm, and then now your base is compromised. So you never want to try and roll your head underneath. Okay? And you don't want to try and beat the elbow with your hand, okay? Because he's not going to leave that arm there. So the first one we'll do is walk in that arm across. I want to get Jared's elbow as close to his center line as you can. So you can see now I can start to pass my head over without much difficulty, because I brought his elbow across his center line. Okay? Especially once I get here and you can't pull it back. A lot of times they're only out is to start to bridge to that direction, and that will allow me to get my head to the other side, and I can bring it back flat. Okay, so we secured the underhook. We already got the elbow past the shoulder line. I like to ratchet this arm. Once the elbow is above the shoulder, it's a lot weaker. Then we can start pulling the arm up, and you can expect Jared maybe like one or two times can pull it back down, but every time he does that, he's just getting a little more tired. So I don't care if they pull it back down a few times. So we walk it across, trying to reach across the opposite shoulder up here. I bring the elbow as close as I can to the center line, and now you can see it's an easy pass to get my head to the opposite side of the elbow, the far side of the elbow. The next mistake a lot of people do is, if they are successful in getting their head to the opposite side, is they try to bring their head down low right away, okay, before setting up the choking hand and getting proper head placement. They try, as soon as they get here, they try and bring their head down low. The lower I go, the more leverage Jared has to push back, okay, and I'm going to push back and I'm going to lose that. So I'm going to stay once I get the arm across and I get my head to the other side. I keep my chin, my cheekbone at the top of the elbow. Okay, and we discussed in the other videos, like the top of the lever on the arm or the head. I want to be at the top of the lever here that I'm trying to control. So when Jared tries to push back now, it's very difficult with just holding it with my head here. Okay, I'm going to hold with the arm as well, but just using your cheekbone here to hold at the top of the elbow. When Jared tries to pull back, it's very difficult. If I slide down a little bit, he's going to start to free and get out. Okay, so we walk across. I bring his bicep to his ear. Look how far across I push my arm. All I need is that elbow exposed. So now I can work my chin in there, okay? So this is where you want to look for to get before we start switching to our grip, to our finishing mechanics, okay? Another one that we'll look for, let's switch here, I'm gonna do that claw grip, is a claw grip. Okay, right now we're just trying to get our head to the opposite side. So one was the pass over. Okay, that'll be the first one I attempt. Next one will be against a strong opponent who's not letting me get that elbow far enough across, or he's even, like Jared was doing, kind of holding on to my back, is we do the claw grip. Okay, I'm gonna pass the underhooked hand underneath and grab the side of Jared's near side neck here. Okay, I'm gonna punch this arm across to expose his neck, and punch this arm across so I can get a deep grip on this side of his neck. So I'm still attempting to walk over, right? We want to try the easier one first, but I'm running into a lot of resistance. So I'm gonna lift Jared's head up and I punch, and I want to bring my arms together. And this is the grip we're looking for, a good claw grip, cupping the side of the neck. Now I'm gonna post out over this shoulder, okay? And I'm gonna hip heist. All my weight is gonna drive, let me just have your head. All of my weight is gonna drive into the shoulder. I'm gonna actually lift my hips up and drive all of my weight into this shoulder when his arm's right here. And the pressure is gonna force Jared's arm across. And what we're gonna do is, once that arm gets across, I can feed to a figure four and then get my hand back underneath, and then we're back in the position we're looking for. So, good shoulder pressure the entire time. I'm walking it across, I just can't get it. I climb up to the crown of the head, and look how I can lift the head up now. And I get to a claw grip. And it's okay, sometimes if I don't have deep enough grip, I'll push the head with my hand or push it with my bicep and get to this claw grip. Now we post out in a diagonal fashion over the shoulder. It's not directly to the side. And all of your weight goes into this shoulder. I'm rolling the shoulder, okay, like I'm rolling with the punch here. Once the hand comes in, even if he doesn't want to bring it in, sometimes they won't bring it in, it's exposed. And I can grab it easily and pull it into a figure four. Once you have the figure four and your goal is the head and arm choke, now I just lift, I pass that hand back underneath, and your goal is set. We got our chin to the top of the elbow. Okay, one more time. So, walking the arm up, you still want to get the shoulder and bicep to the ear. Okay, so you can't do this pass off if his elbow is below the shoulder line or about the shoulder line. I can't reach here. Okay, you have to bring it across. We're almost, if his arm came in front of my face, we would get that pass off. Okay, so he's holding on really tight right here. We lift the head up. Look how I'm keeping his ear connected the whole time to expose this neck. If you let him stay here, look, I'm never gonna be able to, let me lift up though. I'm never gonna be able to get to that neck. You have to bring Jared's head across. I got that scoop grip. If I don't have a good enough grip, I'll just stay here and keep ratcheting Jared's head till I have a nice grip. Shoulder roll forward in a diagonal fashion over the shoulder. My hips come up, so all of my weight, resist just a little bit. All of my weight comes off of my hip. If I'm sitting back, it's hard to get enough pressure for him to release this. I roll forward. If he pulls the hand back in, he gives it to me. If he's trying to keep it out here hidden, I catch, feed back in, and make sure we get to the figure four right here. To pass back off, I lift the head up, and this hand's just gonna slide right back underneath. And look where my chin's at, right on the far side of the elbow. Okay, that's good. So to start with your head and arm choke, with the underhook for mount, we wanna, my two favorite ways to get the chin to the opposite side is to walk that arm across to the far shoulder and get our pass off. Make sure we keep the chin to the top of the elbow to keep the arm in place. And if that's not good enough against a strong resistant opponent, look to get to that claw grip using that forward shoulder roll to get his arm across to the opposite side, using your figure four to get your head back into choking position. right, now that we got our head to the far side of the elbow, we're ready to start to look for our finish. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and go straight all the way to our finish now. Now, we'll just go ahead and fast forward, and we got our chin to the far side of the elbow. Okay, the next thing I want to look for is making sure that this arm is as tight as I can get it. So we need our bicep to this side of the neck. Okay, so off the initial setup, if I had a good underhook when I was setting this up, this should already be set. But just in case it's not, let's look over some ratchet methods to get this side tight. Because what I don't want to do is do everything proper, all the other setups that I'm going to show right now, maybe dismount, and I just didn't have this choking arm set. Because from here, it's difficult to make this adjustment because all of our weight is on this arm now. So we would have to come all the way back to mount and reset. And by that time, I gave them a lot of opportunities to maybe get out of here. Okay, so we got our chin to the opposite side. We used our claw, our pass off or our claw grip. Now we're ready to set this arm. I'm going to tilt to this side. I want Jared to almost try and turn towards me a little bit. Okay, not too far, but just enough where I can pick the head up and now make this arm weightless, where I can ratchet this in. Okay, so let's assume maybe I had this really loose here. I'm gonna cup the head, just almost the same grip as the claw grip, and bring Jared's head up. You can see now there's no weight on this arm. While there's no weight on this arm, we just use a ratchet method where I'm punching my arm in and using ratchet to get my bicep as tight as I can, clearing all this space on the bicep side. Okay, the whole time we're conscious of this arm. I'm staying at the tip of the elbow, so I have the most leverage possible to keep that arm in place. Because I'm using this hand for base, picking his head up, I don't have it to keep the arm here. So we need to make sure we stay conscious of that elbow. So this arm's too loose. We get control of the head, pick him up on the side, ratchet. Okay, one more time. We can't attempt the head and arm yet. We need to tighten up this side. So we tilt to the side, still staying nice strong base. Maybe I even put my toes out to the side. Okay, lift the head up, ratchet, ratchet. Now we're ready to start tightening up even further. I'll rotate this way now. Now that we secured the bicep on this side the next tight as we can, now we can focus on adjusting this arm. While Jared's on his side, okay, before I go back flat, now I'll focus on this arm. If it's not set the way I want, what we're gonna do is push the arm across further. I wanna be ear to ear. So this is where we adjust the head now down lower, down the arm, okay? So I said beginners usually, as soon as they get the arm across, they try and go low too soon. Okay, they didn't set up this arm, they went down low too soon, and they're going to lose the arm and have to start all over. So we stay at the tip of the elbow to the last second. We ratchet. I got this tight. Now I'm going to C-clamp on the arm and push across until I can get ear to ear or temple to temple. Now, depending on their size and your size, you may not be able to touch ear to ear, but you want to be in that vicinity where if his arm wasn't in the way, our ears would be touching. Okay, so I pass across. I want the arm across his throat, not across his face. So if I was here at the tip of the elbow, when I adjust his arm, I push it down, okay, across the throat, ear to ear. Now we're ready to start to go flat. Before I go flat, I want to make one final adjustment. My grip, okay, I want to try and get either a butterfly or a palm to palm. 10 fingers good, maybe against a lot larger opponent, but the tighter you can make the circle, the better. So from here, I can typically only get a palm to palm, but if you can't, go butterfly. But if you notice, Jared's shoulder is in this choke. Just as our finishing on our triangle, I want to get his shoulder out of the equation. So when I go back down flat, if you can still see his shoulder here, it's not as tight as it can be. I can still finish maybe, but it's not as tight as it can be, so I want to try and get it as tight as possible. So we do this little trick here, where with whatever grip you had, I bring my hand above the lock. So if you're looking from this angle from head down, you won't see his shoulder in the choke in the choke anymore. So here his shoulder's in the choke, you can see his shoulder. Like what happens when I bring my hand above the shoulder. Now you can't see his shoulder, and I'm ready to start going back down and get my finish. Okay, you good? Yeah. So we already had the ratchet. We adjust the arm, ear to ear. You get your grip, and the grip you bring above the shoulder. Okay, so pretty much you want to bring your choking hand, your thumb, to your face. Okay, so now you can't see his shoulder. Now you're ready to go back down flat. And I'm going to dismount when I finish. We get our above the shoulder. I dismount. When I dismount, I'm going to let go so Jared can breathe. Look how I base with my elbow. When I dismount, I don't want my base narrow. I put my elbow out for base. We windshield wipe off. And I'm going to keep this knee against Jared's hip. Let me rotate this way a little bit. So this far side knee, when I dismount, is going to jam against his hip so he can't follow me. This leg is going to sprawl out in line with his shoulder. And we're going to look like this here. Okay. So my far leg should be in line with his shoulder line. You never want to be parallel with your opponent when you're trying to finish a head and arm. I want to be teed up. So my far leg should be in line with his shoulders. And then this knee is preventing him from following me. It's blocking his hip. It also makes it easy if I want to remount. I bring my knees together and I can just start sliding and get back to mount. Okay. Let me show you a look from just have your back facing the camera, Jim. Sit up there. Then show that turn this way. So you can see that lock. It's a little easier to see hiding that shoulder from here too. And you can practice this with your partners, just sitting up, having it here. You can feel how much tighter it is here. So what I was saying is the lock of my hands, I don't want the shoulder inside of this lock. We want to make that shoulder disappear. So you can see I'm above the shoulder now. Okay, so if you were looking top down like we were, you shouldn't be able to see his shoulder at all. If it's a bigger opponent, we go for a bigger circle. We go 10-finger grip. Okay, smaller opponents, butterfly. We bring the lock above his shoulder. Okay, makes a huge difference. Right, Jerry? Oh, yeah. So back down. Yeah, just the normal way we're facing. Just get this way. So we secured the elbow, the head to the far side of the elbow. Now we need to ratchet this arm. We palm the head, pick him up so our arm is weightless. Ratchet, ratchet. Once I feel this bicep as tight as you can get, now we focus on this arm while he's still on his side. Maybe he goes back flat. I'm gonna stay here, pick him back up. All our adjustments are made while our arms are weightless on the side, okay? We got the ratchet, now we focus on the arm. C-clamp, push across the throat, ear to ear. Final adjustment, hide that shoulder. Dismount, jam the knee against the hip. I should be sprawled out in line with his shoulder. And now to finish, we drive our head towards our elbow, and I'm pulling this elbow down towards our body. And we get the finish. So the last details on that, I'll have my arm up here for Jared. I'm sprawled out here. Okay, but it's still in a driving fashion. I'm not sprawling back, releasing the pressure. I'm driving into him. And I want to drive my head into him, so I'm forcing his head into my bicep here. So I'm driving my head in a curved fashion towards that far shoulder here. At the same time, I'm pulling this elbow, the choking elbow, down towards my body. Just like we would with a rear naked choke, I'm pulling my elbow to my body for that finish, squeezing with our lat and our back. Okay, so for here, it's not this motion that we're trying to finish. I'm pulling with my elbow to my body. Okay, let's fast forward here. So we had our good finishing mechanics, and we were able to dismount. I drive my head into his temple and close. It's hard to see in the video, but closing this elbow to our body. you're there for 10 seconds, you haven't finished, you made some error somewhere, we bring our knees together, slide over, and look, I can just go right back to ratcheting. I don't have to reset or anything. Adjust, temple to temple, hide that shoulder. He's probably gonna tap before I even dismount all the way. Finish. Okay, let's go one more look all the way through. You good, Jared?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go all the way through. So I walk, maybe I get the pass off, I bring his ear to his, bicep to his ear, chin to the tip of the elbow. Now I look to bring Jared up. Palm the head, take him up on his side, ratchet, ratchet. Adjust the arm now, staying at the tip of the elbow. I pass off, pushing that arm across his throat, temple to temple. Hide that shoulder. Dismount. Jam the knee against his hip, in line with his shoulders. I'm driving, I make one final adjustment. I go down, and I turn my head against this. For the finish. Go. All right. So once the hardest part is getting the head to the opposite side of the elbow. So once you use that pass off or the claw grip, go ahead and take your time and make those final finishing adjustments, the ratchet, the pass off, and I think that the new one that really helped was hiding that shoulder, bringing that lock of the hand above the shoulder before you dismount and get your finish.